So it's going to be very interesting to see the top civilizations who become like the ancient civilization powerhouse of this world. I think my one of my guesses is going to be Morocco. Morocco's already pretty high in score. He did get up a pretty strategical wonder, which is pretty good. I mean, that's going to have an impact on the rest of his game for him. But, you know, there's also a few other favorites that I think could pull out very early on ahead here. Let's go ahead and take kind of a brief moment here to kind of look at exactly, you know, a few of which civilizations are kind of, I guess, jumping out ahead in certain categories in the Info Addicts mod. So Denmark, surprisingly enough, I think it's because they've been locked off, but technically they do have the most population within their empire, even though they have one city and they've been locked off by Sweden. That will definitely change, though, really quick. I'm sure that will not stay there for a very long time. Morocco, actually, in fact, who's probably towards the bottom here. Yeah, they are towards the bottom here. Morocco actually isn't doing as well, but because of their wonder, they probably will be doing a lot better. Spain, Carthage, Germany, yeah, these top four actually really pop out at me. Germany, Carthage, Spain, and Denmark. Most 3 out of 4 of those within Europe, and they haven't really had a chance to expand too much. Now, this is obviously going to change because Carthage is going to be very, very expansive in Northern Africa, more than likely. Let's just check on a few more, not necessarily a lot. Let's look at literacy. Denmark is doing pretty well for themselves as well. Again, it's really early on. You really can't really judge all that much on what the Info Addicts is saying right now. And no one probably has any more trade routes up. Faith Gang. This is interesting. Yes. Okay, so we are right in assuming that Egypt will be a very religious powerhouse early on, but so will the Celts. So will the Celts, definitely. We don't have any global relations. It's only turned 28, so nothing crazy is happening. In terms of victory progress, we actually have to look at diplomatic. So you need actually 50 votes to win for the world leader proposal. More than likely, this will not happen. I think actually a cultural victory is possible. I think it's safe to assume, though, it's either going to be more than likely a science victory and then a cultural victory. That's why I'm assuming that Babylon is going to definitely kind of take the helm here and be the favorite in most people's opinions, most people's eyes. So Harun al-Rashid, Napoleon, and Maria Theresa of Austria have all got into the classical era with Elizabeth. Elizabeth is the other one there. So the Ottomans are about to settle their 4th city, and we were talking about that in the previous video. I'm really excited to see how that goes down. So really quick, let's check on our favorite region. Let's check on what's going on in the Iberian Peninsula. Looks like the AI is beginning to get up their roads, which is good. They're about to connect their first road between Madrid and Barcelona. That is going to be good for, in terms of military, that's going to be good for Spain. It means that, you know, if units get built in Barcelona, they'll be able to kind of migrate them over towards Madrid a little bit faster. And in terms of military, Spain actually did manage to get up 1 archer, but so did Maria. I'm sure that the tension is on in the Iberian Peninsula. I'm sure they don't like each other. And, oh, you know what? The first caravan has been built and is being sent between these two capitals. So has Spain. The Spanish caravan has also been finished. I don't know why I can't say that. So has Spain. Looks like no one's going for this marble. Braga actually might grab this marble, but who knows? And a few more. Yeah, Nebuchadnezzar has reached the classical era. So has Dido. And Carthage has got their own pantheon here. Extra happiness from cities. Oh, that's a pretty good one for them because they're going to be just so expansive. Let me check exactly how many more pantheons can be founded. Actually, you know what? It probably doesn't. I don't think there's a limit to pantheons. There is a limit towards religions. So there's 6 religions that can be found. More than likely, it's pretty safe to assume that Egypt is going to get that first religion first. Yeah, I can speak the English. And Morocco, see the problem with Morocco, I know that we've been focusing on Morocco within this episode, and that's kind of what I intend to do within each video because there's just so much going on. I do kind of want to focus on particular civs within each. I don't know if it's going to be each turn or each video. We'll kind of see and we'll kind of fish it out. But the problem with Morocco is they don't have a lot of good spots. The AI will definitely want to avoid settling within the desert at all costs. Now, the thing about this map mode that differs from a lot of the other European map modes is that it goes pretty far into the Sahara Desert. It goes very, very far, in fact. And there is a lot of good locations just south of the Sahara Desert for for some possible expansions. Expansions for certain empires. Oh, and you know what? Russia just got up the Great Library. Well, that's good if we're rooting against Babylon, and I actually am. I am rooting against Babylon here, just because they're the favorite. I want to see an underdog win here. That's good from preventing Babylon and Nebuchadnezzar from winning a science victory. So if Morocco, or I guess Carthage, but Carthage has plenty of space to expand towards. If Morocco finds out about this spot, which looks like they do have a scout moving down south, and there is a lot of wheat down here. This is an excellent spot with a lot of rivers. This would be a really, really good spot. Morocco does have a lot of places to expand, but I don't know. It depends on how much the AI decides to explore. They more than likely will not want to go out and settle in this desert, no matter how many luxury resources are out here. Yeah, it doesn't really matter too much who's entering the classical era anymore. Another Pantheon has been founded. Good, Poland has. So they're going to get extra culture for plantations. I'm not sure exactly how much that's going to benefit them for now. More than likely, a few big religions are going to come in here and completely wipe out most of the Pantheons within this world. So Egypt. Oh, and wow, Egypt did a 1-2 wombo combo here with the Stonehenge and their first religion. The holy religion of Islam has been settled within Thebes. The first off. Let's go ahead and check over the break and see, I'm sorry, not over the break, but in between turns, exactly what benefits they decided to go for within choosing their religion. Also, what's interesting is Ramses hasn't got up their next settler. I don't think we're going to see Ramses as very expansive either, but that tends to be how the AI of Egypt tends to play this game. William has entered the classical era. Very interesting. So, yeah, I assume that, yeah, definitely Ramses has taken up the top slot for the most, the best score in terms of this game, the best scoring Civ at almost 200 points. Yeah, very good for them as well. Ottomans as well, just kind of an update for the Ottomans. They did settle their fourth city, and it's very, very close to Acadia. Good. I'm rooting for you, buddy. This is going to be really interesting region as well. I am rooting for some civs. I'm definitely rooting for some civs, but I don't want to necessarily kind of go out and be biased for, I'm going to kind of keep some of my opinions to myself because I don't want to be biased. I don't want you guys to think a certain way or whatever if you're rooting for a certain way. I'm sorry. I got to root against I can't even fucking talk right now. I got to root against Babylon just because they are by far the favorite. Egypt, I don't really mind. Egypt doesn't necessarily win. They're going to be always on top of score, though. So, yeah, let's go ahead and check the religion screen and check exactly what did they get in terms of their beliefs. So, in terms of Islam, we can settle it right there by kind of categorizing that screen. Their Pantheon, I don't care about their Pantheon that much. So, there it is. So, they're going to get faith for purchasing monasteries. Okay, that's going to be good. That's going to give them quite a few extra bonuses in terms of, I think, faith, culture, and I can't recall the other one. They're going to get another, maybe is it... I cannot remember. I think they might get happiness. It might be happiness, which doesn't really mean much for an AI. Happiness doesn't really do anything. Also, they're going to get 15% more influence resting points for city-states. Okay, so this religion isn't powerful at all, but more than likely, we have to remember that Egypt will definitely reform their religion, and they're going to be the first to reform their religion. And they're definitely going to expand upon it and get a little bit more beliefs. But so far, very underwhelming Islam. Very, very underwhelming Islam. So I'm not too worried that Egypt's going to be super, super powerful. I think we're going to be pretty safe. And I'm kind of looking around the map. Has anyone else settled their third city? Florence is still stuck here. Rome is going to settle right here on the on the boot. Excuse me. On the boot, locking off this region. I think, is this the... I can't remember the sea. It might be the Adriatic. I might be totally fucking that up, but I think that might be what the sea is called. So Rome is going to kind of control exactly who passes through this area, and Rome might have an opportunity to take over Venice. But Rome is going to be very powerful, and they're going to be very powerful early on with their legions and with their siege unit. I can't recall the name off the top of my head, but they have their Roman legions as well as their siege, the ballistic. So they could have an opportunity of wiping out Venice, which means Rome would be looking very powerful very fast, very early on. We might see even a historical battle between Carthage and Augustus Caesar. could be interesting in terms of most expansive civs in this game. We are going to see Dido settle her third city, and like we assumed, she is going to go for more likely these dyes and these gems as well. Oh wow, and Morocco. Oh, never mind. I'm smoking crack. But I didn't realize how close Rabat and Braga are close to each other. This is interesting because it means that, you know, depending on how big the navy of Morocco is, which it might not be that big because they only have one coastal city so far, so I don't know how big of a navy Morocco might get up, but it could mean that Portugal and Maria, she might get sandwiched here in between a expansive and aggressive Isabella of Spain and maybe Morocco. But I think, actually, you know what? I think it's going to be the other way around. I think we're going to see Portugal attack with a pretty big navy because she has already two cities with on the coast. Porto is not, unfortunately, which I don't think was the right decision for her to make, but that's okay. But because she has two coastal cities, we might see her have a pretty I know that she has a unique boat, I believe, that could take over this Moroccan city. She actually might, yeah, she might do that, which would be good. Which would be good for Portugal very early on. And as we kind of predicted, yeah, Portugal did do what we wanted. We wanted Portugal to be very expansive, and that was really going to be the only way I think she was going to be able to stop Spain. Because if Spain began to get natural wonders, she was going to be powerful herself. So yeah, so I think that Maria is doing a great job at kind of stopping Isabella at some point here. At some point. Another Pantheon has been founded, and more classical era things have been going on. Solomon has taken up the second slot, still pretty far behind Ramses though, and Arabia. Good for Arabia. I'm rooting for you, buddy. I really am rooting for you because, you know, I'm not necessarily rooting against Egypt here, but I'm hoping that Arabia is going to be able to somewhat kind of give Egypt a run for their money. I always, in all these AI-only battles within the subreddit, as well as within my own like playthroughs on this, you know, any sort of mod, Egypt always is in the top slot, and I want someone to take that away from them. So I'm rooting for you, Arabia. I know you can do it. You're going to settle your third city, and it looks like you're going to grab. Maybe you might go right there. Grab some marble, grab some silver. Maybe you won't have access to this mountain. I don't think so. A crucial moment for us as well is that Morocco got up their own Pantheon. I really, really hope that the AI is fucking smart here and decides to grab a canal city. They won't because they never do. They never do, am I right? They never, ever grab the canal city. But I would love for them to do so. That would mean that, well, that would mean that Arabia potentially could be under attack, depending on who it is that grabs the canal city. If it is, of course, Arabia, which they did settle their third city on that location on top of the hill, which they're going to grab the marble and the 2 silver. Depending on who it is, they're going to have a lot of control. If it's Arabia, that gives them an unbelievable amount of control because they're going to have a pretty big navy themselves, I hope. Unfortunately, I wish Egypt themselves had a few more cities on the coast. That means that Medina and Mecca might be able to siege out something that Egypt has under control. The second, of course, the second religion has been founded, and it is the Celts, as we assumed. So, 2 religions, Protestantism, I'm sorry, I'm smoking crack. Catholicism and Islam has been formed. Islam has been formed first, and then Catholicism, and they've been separated at 2 different, regions of the world. That means that we could see 2 very, very dominant religions. I know that there are going to be still 4 more religions that will more than likely form at some point within this game, but it's interesting. I'm liking the historical accuracy. Did Denmark settle their second city? No, they didn't. But you know what? Netherlands did take away Copenhagen's chance at settling to the west here. Interesting choice. But it looks like, yeah, the Danish settler will probably try to grab these horses and these gems, maybe getting access to mountains more than likely. Maybe some pearls as well. That'll be an interesting choice. Now, let's go ahead and check in on France. How is France doing? France doesn't look like they're off to a great start. They're going to settle. Oh, looks like, I bet you they're going to settle right there. I don't think they're going to get any further south into the Iberian Peninsula. Yep, they did. So France has locked off space, but you know what? France is always going to have access to the Iberian Peninsula. That's huge. That is pretty big. France, but you know what? You know what? Maybe not. France might be able to grow their borders to lock off Spain to only settling within the Iberian Peninsula. But you know what? France and Napoleon is always going to have access down south here through Lyon. That's going to be interesting. he could eventually send in mid-game some musketeers to, maybe investigate on what's going on. Maybe we see a certain civ start to kind of weaken. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Portugal begins to make a good enough offensive attack on Spain. Spain is down to maybe 1 or 2 cities. We might see France kind of vulture that shit and steal away a few other final last pieces away from Isabella. Could be interesting. So yeah, France has got a pretty good spot for them. Good for them. Venice is having some trouble. I think we might see Venice fall pretty fast here, unfortunately. I know Venice was probably one of the biggest underdogs when starting this campaign, but yeah, I think they're gonna stop. They're gonna fall apart here because of the ballistas. I think they gotta be, right. I feel like they kind of have to be. Germany has really got to get their shit together if they're going to want to keep up, specifically with Poland. They're going to have to. So will Austria. But the thing about Austria is their unique ability they want to be friendly towards city-states, but they really could benefit from taking over a few of these regions. Now, I know that they have the possibility. Greece just totally forward settled. It's turn 35, but they had to. I guess I get it. They had to, but Greece totally forward settled up here just south of Poland. I'm not sure how Poland is going to take of that. You know what's surprising? Poland doesn't have much of an army at all. They still only have 3 warriors. They still have 3 warriors, but they do have a 4th settler. Oh, that's interesting. They haven't got much of a military. More than likely, they could wipe out Austria and whatever they have coming at them. Austria is very weak. Germany, I believe, is very weak, even though they do have a great general. Oh, that is particularly interesting to see what's going on here in the whole middle region of Europe. And this is where the big clusterfuck is really going to happen. It's going to be exciting to see how this whole region plays out. Yeah, so Poland is doing really, really well for themselves, and I'm interested to see exactly which. We should check that over the break. Let's wait until the turns stop. As you can see, as I talk, I'm gonna kind of hit the next turn so we can kind of see animations go and we can watch things happen. Let's check exactly which policies, which AI is going for. So if we go for the diplomacy and global politics, we can see. I'm really looking for honor and piety. So Arabia and Ramses went for piety, obviously. Elizabeth went for liberty. That's probably a pretty bad choice for her because she's not going to be very expansive. France went honor, so he's probably going to be, I don't know, maybe a military threat, which would be good. He kind of has to be if he wants to survive and do at all have a chance in this game. He could be a very good threat to a cultural victory in the late game. Good. Bismarck went honor as well. Liberty for Greece. Good. The Ottomans went liberty. That explains why they're so freaking expansive. 4 cities already. You get props, bro. You get props. Roman tradition. That's strange. That's not like the AI. Rome typically never goes tradition, so that's strange. Russia, why the hell did you go piety? That's just the AI being the AI. Good. I like that the Nebuchadnezzar chose piety. That means that he's not going to be as powerful. He would have definitely benefited way more if he went for tradition, but he didn't. Austria tradition, Dido piety, the Celts went piety, which means that probably explains why they got the second religion in the game. The Netherlands with tradition, 3 tradition. I think we can assume that anyone that goes tradition is going to be a little bit better than the other AIs just because tradition is the best social policy to go for. Sweden did go honor. That is making me think that Sweden does feel threatened a little bit by Harold's presence just south of their capital. We might see Denmark get taken over by Sweden. Could be interesting. Spain went piety. Morocco went piety. Poland, no. I'm rooting for you, buddy. Don't go piety. That's not the right choice, man. That's not the right choice. Oh, Portugal went honor. We can assume she might declare war on Spain here. Spain, I think, is actually going to be the weaker civ. I think we might see Spain get knocked out of the Iberian Peninsula at some point. And, of course, Venice chose tradition. Good for them. They really needed that. They really, really needed any sort of bonus they can get. I guess. I mean, I don't know how long they're going to survive. With only 3 warriors, and they still haven't used their great merchant, it's going to be an issue. It certainly is going to be an issue. Anyways, guys, looks like I'm going to have to stop right there. We'll wait. Well, I guess we'll wait until this turn ends, and we'll kind of see if anyone else slaps down a 4th city besides the Ottomans. Surprised that the Russians... What's going on in Russia? What are you doing, man? You don't even have a settler yourself. And wow, the Netherlands are actually scouting out this region pretty good. You do have a pretty big military. You have 4 warriors, an archer, and a spearman. You're ready for war, but you don't have anyone to go to war with. Well, you do, Russia. You do, but bad Russia. Bad Russia. Is that too soon? That's way too soon. This is still a pretty big situation that's going on. I feel bad for myself. Come on, Drew. Pull yourself together, man. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna have to stop right there. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.